Welcome to the channel Darkness in the Night, *. Tonight, sit down and dim the lights. Because the story we're about to hear is not for the faint of heart. In a small village tucked beside Forest Lake, where the fog clings tightly to the treetops, a curse whispers in the shadows. Are you ready? Let me lead you into the tale of Madame Knock, Bowen, and a restless ghost that never sleeps. The rain drizzled softly, tapping against the thatched roof. Madame Knock's wooden house leaned precariously along the dirt road that led out to the fields. The night was pitch black, lit only by a flickering oil lamp in the corner, its glow casting shadows across the stained wooden walls. Madame Knock sat at a small table, her hands trembling as she worked on a half-finished wool sweater. Her eyes, dim with age, still carried a look of worry. The wind whistled through the cracks in the door, like someone whispering just outside. "Yes, Mother, I've put little Bowen to sleep already." Lynn, her daughter-in-law, stepped out from the inner room, her voice gentle but tinged with fatigue. She had just lulled her month-old baby to sleep, her hands still scented faintly of milk. Madame Knock looked up, her gaze fixed on the darkest corner of the house. "All right, just be careful. Don't let the wind creep in, it's too cold. These past few nights, I haven't felt at ease." Lynn gave a small smile, sitting beside her mother-in-law. "What's there to worry about? The baby sleeps so soundly." "Mother, you always think too much." Madame Knock said nothing, only bent her head and continued knitting. Her frail fingers moved over the needles, but her thoughts wandered back to old stories. Forest Lake, the deep, still water out there, wasn't a safe place. Villagers had long whispered about the lake's curse, of children screaming in the night, their skin pale as if possessed. She used to laugh those tales off. But ever since Hong, the daughter-in-law of Mrs. Tham, drowned in that lake, she no longer dared to dismiss them. "Lynn, make sure to lock the doors tight tonight," Madame Knock said, her voice dropping low. "Word is spreading in the village. Hong's spirit didn't rest." Lynn froze, her hand mid-stroke through her hair. "Mother, that's just gossip. Hong fell into the lake, it was an accident. Please don't dwell on it. It's unfair to her." Madame Knock shook her head, eyes staring as if past the walls, all the way to the black water outside. "Accident or not, I don't know, but I feel the chill. Lynn, a cold that seeps into the bones. Last night I dreamed of Hong standing in the yard, drenched. Her eyes were hollow." A shiver ran down Lynn's spine, and she pulled her clothes tighter. The rain outside grew heavier, sounding like fists against the door. She rose quickly, checking the latch, though she dared not peer through the crack. "Mother, please don't talk about that anymore. You're scaring me." Madame Knock sighed, setting the sweater on the table. "I'm just warning you to be cautious. That Forest Lake, it's not what we think it is. When I was young, I once saw a figure standing by the water under the full moon. I couldn't make out who it was, but I knew it wasn't among the living." The wind howled louder, carrying with it a bitter chill from the fields. From the bedroom, baby Bowen suddenly shrieked, his cry sharp as a blade cutting into the night. Lynn rushed inside, her heart pounding. "Oh God, my child, why are you crying like this?" Madame Knock shot to her feet, panic in her eyes. She muttered under her breath, as if to herself, "Could it be, the curse has begun?" The house drowned in the baby's wails, blending with the sound of rain and wind. Outside, the fog crept in from the lake, winding around the shrubs, as though intent on swallowing the entire village whole. In the cemetery near Forest Lake, two shadowy figures trudged under the pale moonlight. Tin and Dung, two idle young men from the village, clutched their shovels with shifty eyes. The graveyard was cold, the mounds of earth jutting under the silvery glow. Crickets chirped in the distance, mingling with the faint ripple of water from the nearby lake. "Tin, are you sure about this? Doing this, it gives me the creeps," Dung whispered, gripping the shovel handle tight, sweat beading on his forehead despite the cold. Tin smirked, his voice raspy. "What's there to fear? The shaman already said it. Take the eyes of a drowning corpse. Craft the lake eye talisman, and you can have anything. Money, insight into people's hearts, That charm can do it all. Or do you want to stay dirt poor forever? Dung swallowed hard, his gaze flicking toward Hong's fresh grave. But Hong only died a few days ago. What if her spirit knows? Tin scoffed, stepping up to the grave. Spirit, my ass. Dead is dead. Stop being a coward. Once this is done, you and I split the wealth. Now dig. Under the moonlight, the two began thrusting their shovels into the soil. Each strike rang hollow, echoing like a knock against the heart of night. With every scoop of dirt, Dung's pulse hammered harder. The chill he felt wasn't from the wind, it was from something unseen. As though eyes were watching him. Tin, do you hear that? Dung froze, his voice trembling. It sounds like dripping water. Tin frowned, pausing to listen. Around them was only the wind and the chirping insects. You're imagining things. Keep digging. Stop whining. But as Dung bent down, an icy drop landed on the back of his neck. He jerked up, staring at the dark sky and the pale moon above. God, Tin, I swear something's wrong. Tin growled, irritation lacing his voice. Don't be such a coward. Dig, take the eyes, and get out. The shaman's waiting in the forest. They dug deeper, dirt flying. When the coffin lid emerged, Dung's knees nearly buckled. He wanted to flee, but Tin's piercing gaze pinned him in place. They pried the lid open, and the stench of damp soil mixed with something foul filled the air. In the moonlight, Hong's pale face appeared, her eyes closed. Hurry up, Tin hissed, clutching a small knife. Cut the eyes, put them in the box. Then run. Dung shook his head, his voice breaking. Tin, I can't. Looking at her face, I'm terrified. Shut up, Tin snapped, bending down himself. His hand trembled as he brought the knife close to Hong's eyes. At that moment, a frigid gust swept through, carrying a whisper. Don't take my eyes. Dung screamed, stumbling back as his shovel clattered to the ground. Did you hear that? A voice. My God, Hong knows. Tin gritted his teeth, forcing calm. You're crazy. It's just the wind. Do it, now. But as Tin's hand touched Hong's face, her eyes suddenly snapped open, empty, hollow, staring straight at him. Tin shrieked, toppling backward, the knife slipping from his grasp. In the darkness, the sound of dripping water grew louder, as if footsteps were approaching from the lake. At Madame Knock's house, Bao kept crying, his wails sharper by the minute. Tearing through the night, Lin cradled her baby, tears streaming down her face, her voice trembling. Please, my child, stop crying. Mommy's here. What are you afraid of? Madame Knock stood at the bedroom door, her hand gripping the frame. Lin, bring the boy out here. I need to see what's wrong with him. Lin carried Bao over. The baby's tiny face was flushed red, his eyes tightly shut. Madame Knock's heart clenched. His skin, why is it turning pale? Dear God, it's the curse. Lin panicked, clutching her son close. Mother, don't say that. I don't believe it. Bao just has a fever. I'll take him to the doctor. Madame Knock shook her head, her voice heavy as stone. This isn't a normal fever. Lin, I know. Forest Lake is calling. Something's not right. I must go to the shrine of the forest god. Beg for protection. Lin sobbed, hugging her child tighter. Mother, don't go. It's so dark out there. It's dangerous. Stay here with me. I'm scared. But Madame Knock had already thrown on a raincoat and grabbed the oil lamp. I have to go. If I don't, the boy won't survive. Stay here. Lock the door. And don't open it for anyone. She stepped outside, the oil lamp flickering in the fog. In the distance, Forest Lake shimmered under the moonlight like a giant eye glaring at the village. The water rippled faintly, like a ghost whispering. The fog crept over the narrow path leading into the woods. The oil lamp in Madame Knock's hand wavered like a lost firefly in the night. The bamboo thickets rustled on either side, as though something was lurking. Her heavy footsteps pressed into the damp soil, each step carrying the weight of dread. The shrine of the forest god lay deep within, a place few villagers dared to visit after dark. But she had no choice. Bao An's cries, his pale face, haunted her like an omen. Forest god, please protect my grandchild. she muttered, clutching the lamp tightly. Its weak light barely lit a few steps ahead, the rest swallowed by thick darkness. A cold gust swept by, carrying the metallic stench of lake water. She froze, heart pounding. "Who's there? Is someone out there?" No reply came, only the rustling leaves. She drew in a deep breath and pressed on. The ancient banyan tree loomed through the mist, its drooping branches like ghostly arms. The shrine was small, its mud walls cracked, the moss-covered roof sagging. On the altar sat a blackened wooden statue of the forest god, its carved eyes staring straight at her. "Great Spirit, I come to beg you." She knelt, her voice trembling. "My grandson, Bao En, he is suffering. His skin is pale, his screams unending. Please protect him. Do not let the lake's curse take him away." She placed incense on the altar and lit it. Smoke curled upward, blending with the fog, forming eerie streaks. Suddenly, a asterisk plop echoed from afar, like a stone dropping into the lake. Madame Nock flinched, nearly dropping her lamp. "Oh Lord, who's there? Who is it?" She rose, peering out. Darkness pressed around the shrine, only the faint moonlight glinting on the distant lake. A shadow swept past, swift as wind, vanishing behind the trees. Madame Nock clutched her chest, whispering, "Hong, is that you? If you're angry, tell me, but don't harm the boy." The wind replied with a broken murmur, like a voice carried through the night. Eyes, return. "My eyes." Madame Nock stumbled back, her spine hitting the altar. The lamp quivered, its flame flickering as though ready to die. She fell to her knees again, tears streaming down. "I beg you, forest god, lead Hong's spirit away. Don't let her destroy this village." At the cemetery near Forest Lake, Tin and Dung trembled beside the open coffin. Hong's face lay there, ghostly pale. Her eyes just snapped open as if drilling into the two men. Tin gasped for breath, the knife slipping from his hand. "Dung, did you see that?" Her eyes opened. Dung clutched his head, his voice cracking. "I told you, this is wrong. Hong knows, God, she knows. I'm terrified." He glanced around, the graveyard was frozen in silence. The mounds of earth whispering in the moonlight. The dripping water sounded again, closer now, like footsteps approaching. Tin tried to steady himself, snatching the knife back up. "Stop being a coward, just do it, take the eyes and run." The shaman's waiting. He bent down, hand trembling as the blade neared Hong's face. But just then, an icy drop fell onto his skin. Tin flinched, looking up. No rain, only dense fog. "Dung, do you feel something wet?" Tin muttered, voice unsteady. He wiped his hand on his shirt, but the clammy dampness clung to him. Dung shook his head, darting glances everywhere. "I don't know, but I hear water. Tin, like someone standing right behind me." He spun around, only darkness. Only silent graves. Don't touch me." The whisper came again, clearer this time, as if from the coffin itself. Tin screamed, stumbling back into the pile of fresh soil. Dung covered his face, sobbing, "I can't do this anymore. She's staring at me. I swear I saw her shadow out there." Tin clenched his jaw, shouting to drown out his fear. "You're insane. Take the eyes, or forget about the money." He leaned down again, the knife grazing Hong's eyelid. Suddenly, a freezing hand seized his wrist. Tin shrieked, dropping the knife and falling backward. "God, help me." Dung panicked and bolted from the graveyard, never looking back. Tin scrambled up, heart hammering. He stared into the coffin. Hong lay still, unmoving. "Damn you, you scared me. You wretched corpse," he muttered, trying to catch his breath. Snatching up the small wooden box, he clenched his teeth and did the unspeakable. When it was done, he slammed the coffin shut, shoveled soil over it, and fled into the forest, carrying Hong's eyes with him. In the darkness, the sound of dripping water lingered, like footsteps trailing close behind. At Madame Nock's house, Lin sat clutching Bao En. The baby still cried, but his voice was weakening, as if his strength was fading away. The wooden house was cold, the oil lamp flickering weakly. Lin glanced around, a chilling sense that someone was standing outside the window. Bao in. Please, don't cry. Mommy's here. I'm right here with you. She rose, pacing back and forth with the baby in her arms, trying to soothe him, but each time she passed the window, she heard a distant plop, like someone wading in water. Lynn froze, her heart racing. Who's there? Is someone outside? No answer came, only the whistling of wind through the cracks. She hugged her son tighter, eyes fixed on the front door. Madame Knock had told her to lock it, yet she still felt unsafe. Mother, please come home quickly. I'm so scared. Suddenly, a knock echoed, slow and steady. Thump, thump, thump. Lynn jolted, nearly dropping the baby. Who's there? Mother, is that you? No reply, only the knocking, growing louder, heavier. Lynn backed away, holding Bao and close. No, don't come in. I won't open the door. Her voice quivered, tears streaming down her cheeks. The knocking stopped, but a shadow slid past the window. Faint in the fog, Lynn screamed, rushing into the bedroom and slamming the door. God, help me. Hong, if it's you, please don't harm my child. Inside, Bao En's cries pierced the air again, sharper, as though summoning something from Forest Lake. Lynn clutched him tightly, whispering, "It's okay, my love, Mommy will protect you, no one can hurt you." But outside, the sound of dripping water began again, this time, directly beneath the floor. Lynn looked down, horrified, as a small puddle spread across the wooden boards, though the floor was dry. Dear God, what is this? The fog in the forest grew thicker, like a veil that smothered every path. Madame Knock knelt before the forest god's altar, her trembling hands pressed together. The oil lamp flickered, casting light on the blackened wooden statue, its carved eyes sinking deep, as though following her every move. The crackle of burning incense blended with the wind outside, carrying the chill of Forest Lake. Madame Knock whispered, her voice hoarse with fear and exhaustion. Great Spirit, I beg of you, my grandchild is innocent. The boy is only a month old. If there is an angry soul, please spare him. She bowed low to the ground, tears soaking into the cold dirt. Suddenly, a asterisk plop echoed clearly, like footsteps wading through water near the shrine. Madame Knock jolted, lifting her head. Who's there? Hong, is it you? If it's you, speak to me. Her voice trembled, carrying into the silence. No reply came, only the steady drip of water. Slow and deliberate, like footsteps approaching, she gripped the lamp tighter, its dim glow spilling toward the shrine's doorway. A shadowy figure emerged in the mist, standing motionless beneath the banyan tree. Long, dripping hair veiled its face. Madame Knock clutched her chest, heart pounding. Dear God, Hong, don't frighten me. Whatever you want, tell me. The figure didn't move, but a broken, icy voice seeped through the air. Eyes, return? My eyes. The sound seemed to rise from the lake itself, mingling with the wind. Madame Knock staggered back, pressing against the altar. The lamp shook violently, its flame sputtering. I'm sorry, Hong, I don't know who wronged you, but I'll find a way to make it right, she cried. Tears streaming down, she remembered the village whispers about the asterisk lake-eyed talisman, a charm said to reveal the truth in people's hearts. Could someone have dared to desecrate Hong's body? The thought chilled her to the bone. Suddenly, the incense burst into wild flames, smoke swirling thickly. The figure outside vanished, but the dripping sound grew louder, closer, right beside her ear. Don't touch me. The whisper rose again, sending Madame Knock screaming. Dropping the lamp, oil spilled. The flame died, plunging her into total darkness. Great Spirit, save me, she sobbed, crawling blindly, groping for the lamp, but her hand brushed against something wet, cold, like human hair. She jerked back, heart-stopping. Hong, I beg you, don't harm the boy. I'll find a way to give you justice. Deep in the forest, Tin ran like a madman, clutching the small wooden box that held Hong's eyes. His breath came ragged, sweat mixing with fog across his face. Dung trailed behind, pale and frantic, his eyes darting everywhere. Dead branches clawed at them like skeletal hands, while the sound of rippling water from Forest Lake followed close, as though the lake itself was alive, chasing them. Tin, I can't run anymore, Dung cried, his voice breaking. I hear her. Tin, Hong's calling me, I swear she is. Tin turned back, shouting, shut up, just run, the shaman is right ahead. Once we hand this over, we'll be rich. He raised the wooden box, but his hands trembled so hard he nearly dropped it. Dung halted, clutching his head, sobbing, no, Tin, I see her, right behind you. Her eyes, empty eyes. He pointed, his face drained of all color. Tin spun around, but only the fog and black trees loomed. You're imagining it. Move. But as he stepped forward, a freezing hand clamped onto his shoulder. Tin screamed, whipping around, no one there. Yet the wooden box in his grip began to tremble, as though something inside had stirred. Dung, do you hear that? The box, it's making noise, asterisk. Tin whispered, his voice trembling. He flipped the lid open and stared at Hong's eyes. Under the moonlight, they shimmered, as if staring straight back at him. My God, they're looking at me. Dung staggered back, falling to the ground. I told you. Tin, Hong knows everything. Give them back. Give her eyes back. He scrambled to his feet, trying to run toward the cemetery. But Tin yanked him back. Don't be stupid. You want to die poor? Deliver this to the shaman, and it's over, Tin shouted, though his voice broke as a whisper coiled around his ear. Asterisk, return, my eyes. The sound was cold as lake water, forcing Tin to let go of Dung and stumble back. Stay here, Dung, I'm delivering it. Tin bolted forward, never daring to look back. Dung stood frozen in the forest, the sound of dripping water drawing closer with every heartbeat. He turned, and there it was, a drenched figure only steps away. Hair hanging long and soaked, face hidden. Hong, Sister Hong, please, forgive me? Dung collapsed to his knees, sobbing. The figure gave no reply. It only moved forward in silence, leaving wet footprints glistening on the ground. Inside the wooden house, Lin clutched Bao and tightly, curled in the corner of the bedroom. The baby had stopped crying, but his skin was pale. His eyes shut tight as though trapped in a nightmare. The knocking had ceased, but the dripping sound still echoed beneath the floor, as if someone stood right inside the house. Lin looked down. The puddle of water had spread, gleaming in the oil lamp's glow. My God, what is this? Lin whispered, hugging her child tighter. She stood, stepping out of the room to peer around the house. Everything was silent, yet the air felt heavy, as if someone was breathing just behind her. Lin, return, eyes? A whisper filled the room. Lin screamed, spinning around, only to see her own shadow on the wooden wall. Who's there? Don't frighten me. I don't know anything. Her voice trembled, tears streaking her face. She rushed to the front door, checking the lock. It was still bolted shut. Yet the dripping continued. Looking down, she saw wet footprints stamped across the floor, trailing from the doorway into the bedroom. God, help me, Hong, if it's you. Please, please don't harm my baby, she wept, collapsing to the floor with the child in her arms. Suddenly, the window rattled, as though struck from outside. Lin looked up, saw a dark shadow glide past, its eyes gleaming like water. No, don't come in, she screamed, crawling into the corner, clutching Bao in so tightly that he whimpered. The whisper came again, closer now, right at her ear. Asterisk, my eyes, where are they? Lin clutched her head, sobbing. I don't know. I didn't do anything. Please, spare my child. In the darkness, the puddle on the floor began to stir, rippling, swelling, like someone was rising up from within it. Madame Nock stepped out of the shrine, her trembling feet on the fog-covered path. Asterisk. The oil lamp was dead, leaving her in suffocating darkness. Dry branches clawed at her raincoat as if trying to hold her back. From the distance came the rippling sound of Forest Lake, mingling with the whistling wind. Like someone sobbing, she clutched her chest, heart pounding, but her thoughts were only of Bao and her grandson, his tiny face pale as death. Great Spirit, guide me, she muttered hoarsely. I must save the boy. I won't let the curse take him." She stopped, staring toward the lake. The dim moonlight shimmered on the water, glittering like a giant eye watching her. A drenched silhouette drifted along the shore, hair hanging long and heavy, standing still beneath the moon. "Hong, is that you?" Madame Nock cried, her voice shaking. "If you're angry, take it out on me. Just don't harm the boy." She stepped forward, but the figure dissolved into the mist, leaving only an icy whisper. My eyes, where are they?" Madame Nock staggered back, tripping over a stone. She remembered Mrs. Tham, Hong's mother, speaking of her daughter's death. Hong had fallen into the lake on a foggy night. While pregnant, the villagers whispered that when a drowning victim's body was desecrated, their spirit would rise in fury, spreading a curse. "Dear God, who would dare commit such a crime?" she murmured, clutching her cloak. "Who dared to defile you, child?" A sudden plop echoed, as if a stone had struck the lake. Madame Nock flinched, scanning the fog that swallowed everything. Yet she felt someone standing just behind her. "Hong, I beg you, show me the truth." She spun around, only black trees stared back. The dripping sound came again, closer now, like footsteps. Heart racing, she hurried toward the village, determined to uncover the one who had stirred the curse. Deep in the forest, Tin ran like a madman, the wooden box in his hands trembling violently. His breath came ragged, sweat dripping despite the freezing air. Thorny branches clawed at his legs as if to drag him down. Behind him, the lake's watery echoes pursued, entwined with a ghostly whisper. Return. My eyes. Tin clutched his head, screaming, "Shut up, I'm not afraid of you." He stumbled to a small hut where the shaman awaited. The shack was crude, covered in dry leaves, a faint fire flickering inside. Tin shoved the door open, gasping, "Master, I brought it. Hurry, I can't take this anymore." Inside, a gaunt old man with hollow eyes sat by the fire. His face was carved with deep lines, as though chiseled from wood. "Give it here," he said, his voice heavy as stone. Tin's hands shook as he offered the box. But when the shaman opened it, the eyes inside gleamed, staring straight at him. "God, Master, they're looking at me," Tin cried, stumbling back. "They know, I swear Hong knows I took them." The shaman sneered, gaze fixed on the box. "Fear nothing, you've done well. With these, I will forge the Lake Eye Talisman. Whatever you desire, it will show you." He drew a bronze bowl, poured water from the lake into it, and dropped the eyes inside. The liquid fizzed and bubbled as if boiling, though no flame touched it. Tin clutched his head, collapsing to the ground. "Master, I hear her voice. The water, the crying, it followed me from the graveyard here." He glanced toward the doorway, where fog crept in, curling like someone waiting outside. "Master, do something, I don't want to die." The shaman did not answer, only muttered incantations, his hand carving symbols in the air. Suddenly, a scream pierced the distance, sharp and shrill, like Hong herself calling Tin's name. "You took my eyes," Tin shrieked, scrambling into a corner. "Master, help me, she's here." The shaman lifted his gaze, his eyes glinting like water. "You defiled the dead. Did you think a spirit would forgive?" he hissed. Then continued the ritual. The water in the bronze bowl turned crimson, thick as blood. Tin buried his face in his hands, sobbing, "I was wrong. I never should have done it. Give her eyes back, Master, please." But the shaman pressed on. A freezing wind swept through, extinguishing the fire. Darkness swallowed the hut. In the pitch black, the sound of dripping water echoed inside the room itself. Tin whipped around, and there it stood, a drenched figure in the doorway, hair veiling its face. "Return, my eyes." The whisper chilled him to the marrow. Tin collapsed, screaming, "Save me, I'm sorry." Inside the wooden house, Lin clutched Bao and tightly, curled up in the corner of the bedroom. The baby was silent now, but his skin remained deathly pale, his tiny hands icy cold. The dripping beneath the floor grew louder, like footsteps pacing through the house. Lin looked down. The puddle had spread wide, shimmering like the surface of the lake. "Dear God, what is this?" she whispered, her voice shaking. She rose with Bao in her arms and stepped out of the room. The house was pitch dark, only a faint oil lamp flickering on the table. Lin glanced around, her heart pounding. "Mother, are you back yet? Please, Mother, I'm so scared," she called. But only the wind whistling through the cracks answered. Suddenly, a asterisk click echoed, like the latch of the front door shifting. Lin spun around, seeing the door quiver though she had locked it tight. "Who's there? Don't come in," she cried, backing away with her child. Wet footprints trailed across the floor from the doorway. Stopping right in front of her, Lin burst into sobs, clutching Bao and closer. "Hong, please, I beg you. Spare my child. I never wronged you." A whisper rose, icy and hollow, seeping from beneath the floorboards. Asterisk, "My eyes, where are they?" Lin screamed, fleeing into the bedroom and slamming the door shut. She set Bao on the bed and knelt beside him, murmuring, "My love, I'll protect you. No one will hurt you." But the dripping did not stop. Lin looked down. The puddle had stretched into a stream. Sliding into the room, an icy hand brushed against her ankle. She shrieked, scooping up her child and retreating into the corner. "No, please, don't hurt him," she sobbed, her voice breaking. Outside, the wind howled louder, carrying the sound of a baby crying, mingling with the water's ripple. Lin clutched her head, whispering, "Mother, please come home. I can't bear this anymore." In the shaman's hut, the air was freezing despite the fire rekindled in the hearth. Tin cowered in the corner, eyes locked on the bronze bowl atop the table. The water inside was crimson like blood, bubbling, with Hong's eyes glimmering within, as if staring right at him. The shaman, his face furrowed and severe, chanted incantations while his hand traced symbols in the air. The wind outside hissed, carrying the foul stench of the lake, as though Forest Lake itself was breathing. "Sit still, boy," the shaman barked, his voice heavy as stone. "The lake-eyed talisman is nearly finished. Speak your wish, and I'll show you all." Tin clutched his head, sweat streaking his face. "Master, I don't want it anymore. Hong knows, I hear her voice. The water, the crying, it's right here with us." He glanced toward the door, where thick fog pressed in, a white wall swallowing the night. The shaman sneered, never looking up. "You defiled the dead, and only now you fear?" Too late. He poured water from a clay jug into the bronze bowl. The liquid bubbled violently, red foam spilling over the rim, dripping down the table. Tin screamed, pressing back against the wall. "What is that? Blood? God help me." "Silence," the shaman snapped, lifting a wooden staff carved with symbols. "The spirit is enraged. Your fault, not mine." He struck the ground. Thud, thud. Asterisk, the sound echoing like knuckles against the night. Suddenly, the bronze bowl rattled, red water spilling, splattering Tin's face. He screamed, wiping frantically, but the icy wetness clung to his skin. "Hong, please, forgive me," Tin sobbed, collapsing to his knees. "I was wrong. I never should have taken your eyes. Master, give them back. I don't want the talisman anymore." He stared at the bowl. Hong's eyes shifted inside, moving as if trying to leap out of the water. The shaman halted his chant, fixing Tin with a cold stare. "You think returning them will undo it? Her spirit is bound to the talisman now. You cannot escape." He lifted the bowl before Tin's face. "Look, do you wish to see into hearts? Then look." Tin trembled, refusing to meet its gaze. Still, he heard it, the dripping, now inside the hut, like footsteps closing in. "Master, no, she's here, behind you," he cried, pointing to the doorway. There, a drenched figure stood motionless, hair veiling its face. Asterisk, "Return, my eyes." The whisper pierced the air, freezing his blood. Tin collapsed, clutching his head, sobbing uncontrollably. The shaman turned, but saw nothing except the fog. Asterisk, "You're mad," he roared, though his own voice quivered. Suddenly, the bronze bowl toppled to the ground, shattering, its red water spilling across the floor. Hong's eyes rolled out, glinting under the firelight. Tin screamed, scrambling for the hut's doorway. "Help me, I don't want to die." He bolted into the forest, leaving the shaman alone with the dying fire. Madame Nock hurried along the mist-choked path, her heart ablaze with dread. The fog clung to her, freezing, as if to swallow her whole. From behind came the rippling of Forest Lake, mixing with the wind's cry. Like someone weeping, she clutched her cloak tightly, muttering, "Bow in, wait for me, I'll save you." She remembered the figure at the shrine, the whisper demanding eyes, and her conviction grew stronger. Someone had defiled Hong's body. "Great Spirit, guide me." She stopped, looking around. The forest was pitch black, only faint moonlight slicing through the fog. A sudden plop echoed closer, like someone waiting just beside her. Madame Nock spun around. "Hong, is that you? I know you were wronged, but only you can tell me who hurt you." Her trembling voice carried into the trees. A shadow swept past, swift as the wind, leaving wet footprints in the soil. She clutched her chest, heart hammering. "Don't frighten me. Tell me what you want," she cried. But only the dripping answered, steady and relentless, like ghostly footsteps. She quickened her pace, nearly running toward the village. "Lin, bow in. I'm coming back." Suddenly she stumbled over a branch, crashing to the ground. Her raincoat tore, her hand scraped raw, but she didn't care. Crawling up, she saw a small grave torn open, earth scattered, the coffin exposed. "Dear God, Hong's grave," she whispered, tears streaming. "Who did this? Who dared defile you?" She knelt by the grave, pressing her hand to the cold earth. "Hong, please, show me the truth. Don't harm the boy." A whisper coiled right against her ear. Asterisk, "My eyes, in the forest." Madame Nock jolted, whipping around, but only fog and trees loomed. She rose, her resolve burning stronger than ever. "I'll find the one who did this. Hong, I swear it." Inside the wooden house, Lin clutched Bao and in the corner of the bedroom. The baby lay silent, his breath faint, his skin still pale. The dripping beneath the floor grew louder, like footsteps pacing through the home. Lin looked down. The puddle had spread into a stream, gleaming like the lake's surface. "God, save us," she whispered, voice shaking. She stood, holding Bao in, stepping out of the room. The house was cloaked in darkness, the oil lamp flickering weakly, on the verge of dying. "Mother, are you back yet? I can't take this anymore," she called. But only the wind's whistle slipped through the cracks. Wet footprints trailed across the floor, stopping just in front of her. Lin backed away, hugging the child tighter. "Hong, please, spare my baby. I never wronged you." A click sounded, the window creaking open. Lin turned just in time to see a shadow glide past, its eyes glinting like water. "No, don't come in," she screamed, dashing back into the bedroom and slamming the door. She placed Bao on the bed, kneeling beside him, whispering, "My love, I'll protect you. No one can hurt you." But the dripping didn't stop. Lin stared down. The stream of water was crawling onto the bed, soaking the blanket. An icy hand clamped onto hers. She screamed, clutching her child, retreating into the corner. "Hong, please, I'll return your eyes. Just don't harm my baby," she sobbed, her voice breaking. Outside, the cry of a child rose, mingling with the ripple of water. Lin pressed her head down, whispering, "Mother, please come back. I don't know what else to do." In the darkness, the puddle on the floor began to bubble, frothing, as though something was rising from within. Tin ran like a madman through the deep forest, tripping over roots and crashing face first into the damp earth. The wooden box containing Hong's eyes had been lost somewhere when he fled the shaman's hut. The rippling of Forest Lake chased him, mingling with the wailing wind, as though someone were crying. Sweat mixed with fog clung to his face. "God, spare me," Tin screamed, his broken voice echoing through the woods. He stopped, panting, looking around. The withered branches stretched toward him like claws ready to crush him. "Hong, I'm sorry. I never wanted this. Dung forced me," he mumbled into the darkness. But the darkness gave no answer, only the steady drip of water. Closer now, like footsteps approaching. Asterisk, Tin, return? My eyes. A whisper, icy cold, brushed his ear. Tin shrieked, spinning around, but saw only thick fog. He stumbled, his hands sinking into the soil, feeling wet and freezing, as though he had touched the lake itself. No, I don't have your eyes anymore. The shaman does, he sobbed, scrambling to his feet and running again. Suddenly, a flickering light appeared ahead, like an oil lamp. Tin froze, heart pounding. Who's there? Shaman? Help me, he shouted. But the light vanished, leaving him in darkness. A drenched figure emerged a few steps away, hair cascading down to cover its face. Its hollow eyes gleamed like water under the moon. Hong, please, forgive me. Tin fell to his knees, tears streaming. I was wrong. I'll return your eyes. Just don't hurt me. He bowed low, but the dripping continued, relentless, like footsteps drawing near. A freezing hand clamped down on his shoulder. Tin screamed, collapsing backward, feeling himself dragged into the earth. Help me, someone, help. He staggered up again, bolting toward the village, but the forest seemed alive, branches slashing his face, fog coiling around his legs. The whisper followed close behind, never letting go. Asterisk, my eyes, where are they? Tin clutched his head, weeping. I don't know. The shaman took them. Please, forgive me. Suddenly, he stumbled over something hard and crashed down. Looking, he saw the wooden box lying there, its lid open. Hong's eyes glimmered inside, staring directly at him. Tin screamed, scrambling back. No, why is it here? I left it in the hut. He kicked the box away, but it rolled back toward him, as if pushed by unseen hands. Tin fled again, yet it felt as if the lake itself was pulling him back, refusing to let him escape. Madame Knock hurried toward the village, her legs aching, her cloak torn to shreds. The fog swallowed the path, but she never slowed. The image of Bao En's pale face drove her faster. From behind, the lake's ripple pressed close, like something chasing. Great Spirit, protect me, she muttered, clutching her cloak. She remembered Hong's desecrated grave, the scattered soil, the coffin laid bare. Who could do this? Who would dare defile the dead? She whispered, tears spilling down. She thought of Tin and Dung, the village layabouts always lurking near the graveyard. It must be them. God, how could they commit such a vile act? A asterisk plop rang out, as if a stone had been thrown into the lake. Madame Knock flinched, halting. Hong, I know you were wronged. I'll find who harmed you, she cried, her voice shaking. A shadow swept past, swift as wind, leaving wet footprints in the soil. Asterisk, my eyes, in the forest. The whisper froze her heart, and she staggered back, pulse hammering. She turned toward the village, faint oil lamps glowing through the fog. Lin, Bao En, I'm coming, she called. But the wind devoured her voice. She quickened her pace, nearly sprinting, until a cold gust blew by, carrying the stench of the lake. She stopped short, glancing down at her feet. A puddle had appeared though the road was dry. Dear God, what is this? She whispered, retreating. A child's cry echoed from afar, sharp, piercing, like Bao En's voice. Madame Knock gasped and ran toward the village. The boy, I'm coming, my child, she shouted. But the cry blended with the lake's ripple, as if it rose from Forest Lake itself. She halted, staring at the water, where a figure stood upon its surface, hair hung long and drenched, eyes gleaming. Hong, please, show me the way, she begged, collapsing to her knees, tears pouring. The reply came in a whisper, frigid and merciless. Asterisk, my eyes, return them. Madame Knock rose, her resolve like iron. I'll find them. Hong, I'll return your eyes, I swear it. Inside the wooden house, Lin clutched Bao En tightly, curled up in the corner of the room. Asterisk, the baby's breathing was faint, his skin pale and cold, his eyes shut tight. The steady sound of dripping water echoed beneath the floorboards, as if someone were pacing inside the house. Lin looked down and saw the water now flooding into the room, glimmering like the lake's surface. Oh God, save my child, she sobbed, holding him even tighter. She stood, carrying Bao and stepped out of the room. The house was pitch dark, the oil lamp flickering as if about to die. "Mother, are you back yet? I can't take this anymore," Lin called, her broken voice trembling. Wet footprints stretched from the door inward, stopping right before her. "Hong, please, spare my child," she screamed. Stumbling back, a asterisk crack rang out, like a window slammed shut. Lin spun around and saw a dark shadow sweep past, its eyes glinting like water. "No, don't come in," she screamed, dashing back into the room and slamming the door. She laid Bowen on the bed, knelt beside him, and whispered through tears, "My son, I will protect you. No one will harm you." But the dripping did not stop. Lin looked down and saw the water creeping up onto the bed, soaking the blankets. A cold, wet hand touched her neck. Lin shrieked, hugging her child, retreating into the corner. "Hong, I beg you, I don't know where your eyes are, please. Spare my child," she cried, her voice shaking. Outside, a child's cry pierced the night, blending with the lake's rippling. Lin clutched her head, whispering, "Mother, hurry home. I can't take this anymore." In the darkness, the puddle on the floor began to bubble, as if something were rising from beneath. A whisper slid into her ear. Asterisk, "My eyes, return them?" Lin screamed, clutching Bao tighter. "Please, show me how to save my child," she sobbed. But the whisper would not stop, dragging her deeper into the shadows. Meanwhile, Madame Knox stumbled into the village, her legs aching, her breath ragged. Fog wrapped around her like ghostly hands. Wooden houses loomed faintly in the night, their oil lamps flickering like fearful eyes. From the distance, the lake's rippling still followed, mingling with the moaning wind, as if someone were weeping. She halted before Madame Tham's house, Hong's mother, her heart heavy. "Tham, open the door," Madame knocked, her voice trembling. "It's urgent, about Hong." She stood waiting, clutching her torn cloak. The image of Hong's desecrated grave stabbed her chest like a knife. The door opened. Madame Tham appeared, her face gaunt, eyes swollen red. "Knock, what is it at this hour?" she asked weakly, as though she had just finished crying. Madame Knox stepped inside and sat on the wooden bench. The house was cold, faint incense drifting from Hong's altar. "Tham, I just saw Hong's grave, dug up. The coffin exposed. I fear someone took something from her," Knox said, her voice trembling, tears streaming. Tham covered her face, sobbing, "My God, who would dare? Hong died unjustly, and now she's been desecrated." She shook, gripping the table. "Knock, what else did you see? Was anyone there?" Knock shook her head, her voice dropping low. "Only fog, but I heard Hong's voice. She's demanding her eyes. Tham, I fear the curse of the lake is real." She recounted the drenched figure at the shrine, the icy whispers. "I suspect Tin and Dung. Those two loiter around the cemetery. Never up to any good." Tham shot up, her eyes blazing red. "If it was them, I won't forgive. Hong, my child, I'm sorry," she wailed, her voice cracking. She turned to Knock, clutching her hand. "Help me find them. I must know who harmed my daughter." Knock nodded, her heart aching. "I promise. Tham, I'll find out. But I must return home now. Bowen is suffering. His skin is pale, his cries like screams. I fear Hong's wrath is falling upon him." She rose to leave, but a asterisk plop echoed from the lake, freezing her in place. "Hong, if that's you, show me the way," Knock whispered, gazing outside. Through the thick fog, a drenched figure drifted by, hair hanging long, leaving wet footprints on the ground. Asterisk, "My eyes, in the forest." The whisper cut through her bones, making her shiver. "Tham, stay inside. Lock your door and don't come out," Knock said, before running back toward her house, her heart aflame with fear. The sound of dripping water followed close behind, like ghostly footsteps at her heels. Deep in the forest, Tin stumbled and fell by a stream, gasping for breath. Asterisk, the wooden box that held Hong's eyes lay a few steps away. Glimmering under the moonlight, he crawled up, eyes darting wildly, heart pounding. "Hong, please, forgive me," he sobbed, his voice breaking. I don't want this anymore, I'll give your eyes back. He looked around. The forest was pitch black. Fog curling around every branch. The ripple of the nearby stream mingled with the wind, sounding like muffled weeping. Dung, where are you? Don't leave me, Tin called, but only a whisper replied. My eyes, return them. Tin stumbled back, tripping over a rock. He looked down. The wooden box had burst open. Hong's eyes rolling out, glinting like moonlit water. God, why are they following me? He screamed, kicking the box away, but it rolled back, as if pushed by unseen hands. He clutched his head, sobbing, I was wrong, I should never have listened to Dung. Please, forgive me. A drenched figure appeared a few steps away, hair hanging down, face hidden. Its hollow eyes gleamed, piercing straight into Tin. Return my eyes. The whisper froze his blood, sending him sprawling to the ground. I don't have them. The shaman does, he screamed, scrambling up and bolting toward the village. But the forest came alive. Branches clawed his face. Fog tangled his legs. The dripping grew louder, closer, like footsteps right behind him. Tin turned. Hong's figure was nearer, her hand reaching out as if to seize him. Help me, somebody, help me, he screamed, but stumbled into a freezing pool of water. The liquid clung to him, dragging him down, as though Forest Lake itself wanted to devour him. Tin, return my eyes. The whisper coiled against his ear. Tin held his head, weeping. Please, I'll find the shaman, I'll return them. He crawled up, running again toward the village. But the wooden box still lay there, waiting for him. Inside the wooden house, Lin clutched Bao and tightly, crouched in the corner of the room. The baby's breath was faint, his skin pale, his tiny hands cold. The steady dripping beneath the floor echoed louder, like footsteps pacing inside. Lin looked down. The water now spread across the floor, shimmering like the lake's surface. God, save my child, she cried, her voice shaking. She stood, carrying Bao and stepping out of the room. The house was drowned in darkness, the oil lamp flickering as if about to die. Mother, are you back yet? I can't endure this anymore, Lin called, but only the wind whistled through the cracks. Wet footprints stretched across the floor, stopping right before her. Hong, please, spare my baby, she screamed, stumbling back. A crack rang out, like a window slammed shut. Lin turned, catching a glimpse of a shadow sweeping past, eyes glinting like water. No, don't come in, she cried, rushing back into the bedroom and slamming the door. She placed Bao on the bed, knelt beside him, whispering, my child, I will protect you. No one will harm you. But the dripping did not stop. Lin looked down. The water crawled up the bed, soaking the blankets. A cold, wet hand touched her shoulder. Lin shrieked, clutching her baby, retreating into the corner. Hong, I beg you, I don't know where your eyes are, please. Spare my child, she sobbed, her voice breaking. Outside, a baby's cry echoed, merging with the lake's rippling. Lin clutched her head, whispering, Mother, come home quickly. I don't know what to do anymore. In the darkness, the puddle on the floor began to bubble, as if something were rising from beneath. A whisper slid into her ear. My eyes, return them? Lin screamed, holding Bao tighter. Please, show me how to save my child, she wept. But the whisper would not stop, pulling her deeper into the shadows. Madame Nock ran to Tin's house, her heart burning with dread. Fog wrapped around the village, icy cold, as though the curse itself had awakened. Tin's house was pitch black, the door ajar, the steady dripping of water echoing inside. Tin, where are you? Come out here, Madame Nock shouted, shoving the door open. The house was frigid, the stench of lake water clinging to every corner. She saw Tin crouched in a corner, clutching his head, eyes darting in terror. The wooden box lay before him, Hong's eyes glittering as if staring at her. Tin, what did you do to Hong? Speak, Madame Nock roared, her voice trembling with rage and fear. Tin looked up, his face ashen, tears streaking down. Madam, I was wrong. I took Hong's eyes. I gave them to the shaman. I didn't want to. Dung forced me, he sobbed, pointing at the box. But they follow me. Hong won't forgive me. Madame Nok knelt, staring at the eyes within. Dear God, how could you commit such a monstrous sin? She cried, tears streaming down. Hong died unjustly, and now the curse has fallen upon the village. Little Baoan is dying because of you. Tin clutched his head, sobbing, I'm sorry. I'll return them. I'll find the shaman. He staggered up, but a sudden plop resounded, as if someone waded through water right inside the house. A drenched figure appeared at the doorway, hair hanging down, face hidden. My eyes, return. The whisper pierced the air, cold as the lake. Tin screamed, stumbling back. Hong, please, I'll return them. He bolted outside, clutching the box, running toward Forest Lake. Madame Nok chased after him, shouting, Tin, come back, don't go to the lake. But he didn't hear. He vanished into the fog, dragged as if by unseen hands. Madame Nok stopped, her heart aching. She turned back toward home, heavy with despair. Bao-en, Lin, I'm coming back, she called. But the rippling of the lake echoed behind her, mocking her cries. Inside the wooden house, Lin clutched Bao-en tightly. Crouched in the corner of the bedroom, the child no longer breathed, his skin ice cold, lifeless like a doll. Lin wept bitterly, her voice cracking. My baby, wake up, please don't leave me. She shook him, but Bao-en lay still. The dripping grew louder, echoing through the house like phantom footsteps. Lin looked down. The water across the floor turned red, gleaming under the flickering lamp. Hong, I beg you, spare my child, she cried. But a drenched figure appeared before her, hollow eyes glinting like water. My eyes. The whisper slid through the room, freezing her blood. Lin clutched her head, sobbing, I don't know. I didn't do anything to you. Please, give me back my child. But the figure stepped closer, its hand reaching toward Bao-en. Lin screamed, rushing for the door with her son. But the door was locked tight, refusing to open. Mother, save me, she cried. But only the sound of water answered. The red tide crept higher, coiling around her legs, dragging her down. Lin collapsed onto the floor, clutching Bao-en, weeping. My son, I'm sorry. I couldn't protect you. Hong's figure loomed above the rising water, hollow eyes shimmering with mockery. My eyes. The whisper echoed one last time before the figure dissolved into the darkness, leaving Lin in suffocating shadow. Tin stumbled to Forest Lake, clutching the wooden box, breath ragged. He fell to his knees by the shore, flung the lid open, and hurled Hong's eyes into the water. Hong, I'm giving them back. Please, forgive me, he cried, tears streaming. But the lake bubbled, its surface boiling red like blood. A freezing hand clamped around his ankle and yanked hard. Tin, return? My eyes. The whisper rose from beneath the surface. Tin screamed, thrashing, but the water dragged him deeper, down into the lake's dark belly. Help me, he shouted. But only the rippling of water answered. He sank, swallowed whole, while Hong's glimmering eyes followed him down, her final judgment. Madame Nok shoved open the door, finding Lin collapsed on the floor, clutching Bao-en. The child no longer breathed. Lin sobbed, her eyes hollow. Lin, my dear, where's the boy? Madame Nok cried, dropping to her knees, trembling hands reaching for her grandson. Dear God, no. Bao-en. Her voice broke into anguished wails. Lin lifted her face, voice faint. Mother, Hong took him. I couldn't keep him safe. She held Bao-en tightly, sobbing. Madame Nok wrapped her arms around her daughter-in-law, tears streaming. Hong, forgive me. I couldn't find your eyes in time. The house drowned in their cries, mingling with the sound of water dripping from the lake. Fog crept in, blanketing the village. Later, the villagers found Tin's body floating on the lake, his eyes gouged out, a grim warning. Dung vanished, never to be seen again. Hong's grave was reburied, yet on every full moon, a drenched figure was seen standing by the water, eyes glinting as though still waiting. The curse of the lake's shadow never lifted. The village remained gripped by fear, And Madame Knock's family never overcame the grief of losing Bowen. Forest Lake lay silent, yet its waters ran red, forever carrying Hong's vengeance, forgiving no one. This story ends here. Thank you for listening until the very end. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. It is the greatest motivation for us to create more haunting stories for you. If you have any questions or notice any mistakes, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. In Darkness in the Night *, we'll see you again in our next story. This video belongs to the * fictional horror storytelling genre, created solely for entertainment and to bring a chilling experience to our audience. We do not promote superstition or encourage any dangerous actions mentioned in the story. Any resemblance to real people, places, or events is purely coincidental. We sincerely thank all our viewers for supporting * Darkness in the Night *.